Sherman's campaign marked the first time in modern history that total warfare had been waged on a primarily civilian population, and traces of the scars he left on the South can still be found.
Great. Do you want to do it once more?
Do it all, yeah.
2 years ago, I was about to begin shooting a documentary film on the lingering effects of Sherman's march on the South. I'm from the South, and all through my childhood, I heard stories about how Sherman had devastated the South.
I think there's only one advantage to working with autobiographical film, and that is it's the world you know, and probably the world you know best, yourself, your family. And so, because it's the world you know best, you know what to look for as a filmmaker. You know what might be interesting to other people. The disadvantages are many, which include the fact that sometimes you can alienate people you love or you're close to because you're filming them, and it's in a way if you invade your own privacy, that's one thing, but then to bring in other people in your family and also invade their privacy, that makes it very complicated. So I try to do it with sensitivity, with affection, and most times with love, and usually people allow me to film.
Pat's family seems to like me a lot, probably because they think of me as a nice Southern boy. They frequently invite me to dinner and take Pat and me on excursions and trips.
Wonderful release. How about some spinach? No, I believe I'd rather have some of that.
You have two major loves in your life. You've already had one. And that person you probably met about age 18.
Well, I developed my own narrative approach by trial and error. At first, I tried making films that were not autobiographical, and they were good experiences. I was very glad to make them, but I always felt as if I wanted another dimension, another element, and I think something that was more subjective, more like writing. And so it seemed to me the best way to accomplish that would be to try to make autobiographical nonfiction. I was also very interested in the possibilities of the juxtaposition of objectively gathered material, visual material from the world.
Only $4. These lovely dressy blouses have been reduced to just $8.44, and our men's Oxford button-down dress shirts are a special value at only $7.88.
I filmed Diddy and Steve. Before my date, I have dinner with my father and stepmother.
6 kids. Count them. Could put us into bed.
My family has been very gracefully accepting of my filmmaking. And I think back when I made Sherman's March, nobody, including myself, realized that the film would be seen by a large number of people. And we were all kind of surprised. And I think after the initial surprise, I think some people felt they were really happy to be featured in a film and for have the film travel around and be written about in journals and so forth. And other people were a little bit intimidated by that having happened. They felt it was a kind of invasion of their privacy, but not in a serious way. And I think for the most part, they've been very, very accepting. And I've gone back and filmed again and again with the same family members. My brother, for instance, is great. He's been in 4 films now, and I think he wants to help me. He wants to help me, so he continues to be in my films. The first time my father saw Sherman's March, it was the premiere, the United States premiere, and we were in a big theater with many, many people. And I didn't know how the film would go. I mean, it was the first time we'd shown it in public. But it's a humorous film. It's a comedy, so people started laughing. And my father was sitting next to me, and I remember looking at him, wondering what he would think. And he started laughing, and he started laughing harder and harder, and he couldn't stop. And at one point, I saw a tear coming down his eyes because he was laughing so hard. And so he understood finally the kind of film I was making, which I think he always was confused by. But then afterwards he told a friend of mine, I never knew my son was so funny. And I think part of it is because we had this kind of tense, serious relationship, but you could see another version of me in Sherman's March.
Does it look the